Hello, everybody. Welcome to another live stream. Welcome back to the channel to Makeshift Darren After the Credits. We're not talking about any TV shows, but we're talking about stuff. I'm joined by Mr. Three Dubs. How's it going, Three Dubs?
Doing good. How's it going?
Welcome back.
It's been a year.
It's been a long time. Yeah, we were talking prior to going live. We're like, when was the last time I had you on the show? And I think it was for Reacher Season 2. I think it was the finale to Reacher Season 2 was the last time I had you over here. Which was what, February, I think? January?
Reacher Season 2. Reacher's... January.
That's when it ended. Okay, well, yeah, that was a minute ago, and I was thinking, like, well, obviously, Darth isn't here this week. He joins us. He's dealing with some personal stuff.
He's sleeping.
We were going to do some Batman the Caped Crusader, but I think we're going to put that off. I think what we're going to end up doing is doing Ninja Turtles, Caped Crusader, all in one live stream together or whatever. Should be a fun time. But I've been really, I don't know, I guess, really wanting to talk about the D23 stuff that happened over the weekend. I don't know about you. I love these kind of events. I'm really into all this kind of fun stuff. We get news, we get things that are coming out, live trailers to talk about, a lot of discussions to be had, and I'm ready to fully go in and go into it all. Hero's Journey in the chat. Anyone else disappointed we got no Armor Wars news? Do we think Armored Wars is still happening at this point?
Yes, I have hope for it. I think it's important. I think it's going to be a movie that's going to happen before Secret Wars. Because it kind of, unless what RDJ, the stuff with RDJ, it kind of like changes the story. So
yeah,
go ahead.
I think RDJ coming into the picture is either going to mean everything for Armored Wars or it's going to mean nothing. Like, I think that could mean it could completely change what that show is going to, or that movie's going to be. Or now that he is coming back, they could just be like, well, let's not do this anymore, kind of thing. Like, oh, maybe we're going to put this aside and just kind of morph some of Rhodey's story into Doomsday, because I do think Rhodey should be one of the mains in Doomsday due to it being RDJ.
Dr. Doom. Okay, yeah, it is Doomsday.
It's called Doomsday, yeah.
I'm like, what are we talking about DC at a time like this?
Nope, it's tough. It's tough because, like, now I say it and I was like, wait, what Doomsday? And now it's almost corrupted my mind when people are talking about DC's Doomsday. They mention Doomsday and I think Avengers? No, it's Doomsday's been around way longer. Lance is in the chat. How's it going, Lance? Hope you're doing well.
Hope you're partying. that was very yeah.
Hero's Journey said D23 was mostly disappointed for me aside of the Avatar news. I wish there was Avengers news, Avatar news. Would you say it was a disappointment for you, or would you say it was a pretty positive experience?
It was underwhelming. Not everything was exciting like I thought it was. Like, yeah, we got Moana. We got like a Stitch that bursts out of a poster. We got like a few trailers. Mufasa was interesting. I will say that. Like, I'm intrigued by it. But at the same time, like it wasn't like jam-packed with a lot of goodies.
Sure.
As past ones.
I definitely think some panels and some of them brought more than others. Like, I think the live action Disney stuff, I think the animated stuff, I think the Pixar stuff, they really carried this year. Where Marvel, the studio I thought was going to come in here and be the highlight of this entire event, I thought they were really going to show us what they... I don't know. I felt like they had a lot they could really show us. They were the underwhelming part of all of this. And to be fair, they also killed it at San Diego. They literally gave at San Diego the biggest news I think they've ever revealed ever. Like I think that was one of their biggest announcements they've ever made. So like, yeah, in fairness, they kind of spilled a lot of their beans over there. And then Star Wars gave us a few tidbits. Again, we're gonna be going over all the stuff and talking about this one by one.
Yeah, they should have saved RDJ for this. That would have been more exciting.
Honestly, I think they should have, because then that would have gave Deadpool a little bit more time to like, I don't know, live on its own a little bit. Because like, people are loving Deadpool. It just hit the like $1 billion mark. Very excited for that. Very happy. So it did well. Like this didn't affect it. But also the main conversation about the MCU, like it was 2 weeks ago, I did my like Deadpool episode, and somehow I had said in that Deadpool and Wolverine was not the biggest MCU thing to come out that week, which is crazy, right? Arguably one of the most anticipated Marvel movies ever made. It was not the biggest MCU thing to come out with it that week, which is really, really crazy. But no, I don't disagree. But Lance said Mufasa made me hot in the pants. Well, I don't love that. I don't love that, especially since they're lions.
Why are your pants on fire?
But yeah, no. Let's. I think we're gonna be diving into to some of this. Wolverine was awesome in the movie. I love that. So we're gonna be sharing our screen over to discussing film. Let me make sure all my DMs are closed. Discussing film. There was a lot they weren't able to cover, but I think they were able to cover most of the I don't know, meat and potatoes of the event. So we're just gonna go through. We're gonna be reading some of this stuff. We're gonna be going over it. There's a lot of exciting things that happened. Obviously, maybe some things we wanted to talk about, but this first one here, and we don't have to talk about this too long because I don't think this really gave us anything. This was the first thing they put out, which was the first teaser of the Wizards of Waverly Place sequel series. It was more of just like, hey, we still exist, guys. We're making this show. Is this a show you grew up on at all? If not, we don't have to talk about this at all.
Oh yeah.
Like, is this a show that you like?
Yep.
Oops! Don't play that. Where are you at with this one at the moment?
Kind of obviously, I'm glad that Selena is coming back, but at the same time, sad that she's not the main part of it, because I like Alex. So
yeah,
who doesn't?
Yeah,
yeah.
Go ahead,
I'm intrigued by it, but at the same time, want more Selena.
Sure, I'm curious because I assume she will play. They've said she's only in the pilot, and I would assume that she appears throughout the series. I assume it's like that. I don't know if you ever did the like Girl Meets World back when it was airing, but they would all the you would have Eric that would show up every twice or three times a season or whatever. You would have all these guest stars sprinkled throughout it, and this I feel like this is a show within the genre of. I feel like this is a big genre at the moment of bringing back these old sitcoms and having all your guest stars sprinkled throughout the show. And I feel like this is one of the bigger ones for me in terms of just like, I don't know, my childhood, right? Like this is one of my biggest like shows that I grew up on over the years. I'm excited to watch it though, because it's clearly like they're clearly aiming for that younger audience. They're clearly aiming for they even said in the trailer and yeah, this is what I was wondering when they announced it was like, what's the audience for this? Is it for the new next generation of kids, or is it for the people who grew up on it? And obviously, hypothetically, you'd want to aim for both, but it seems like they are aiming for the younger group, a new generation for they can have a Wizards. And I think
I mean that's okay. At the same time, I want it to be a mix to where it targets the new generation while also speaking to the adult generation that grew up with it. iCarly did it the best, where it morphed into like they knew their audience grew up, so they went that way to where talk to the people that grew up with it.
Yeah, I think it's a balance that needs to be walked, and like you just did the Ravens Home, which that recently came back.
Ravens
Like,
Home was a great mix. It
yeah,
talked to the people that grew up with it, while also uh, um, targeting the new generation.
sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious the tone they're going to hit. It seems like they're aiming for kind of what the original was, and that's not a bad thing. I'm very happy with kind of where they're at. And David's coming back, which I'm wondering how much of a role he'll play, because I think him as like the fun little grandpa will be kind of fun. Like I think he could add a nice little layer to the show. And just like even in the trailer, like I feel like he was I don't know, like I feel like Justin was kind of giving off the same energy that his father did in the original show, and just like how he was handling his kids, being like, no, don't use magic in school, no, don't, like, listen to me, kind of thing. So I'm curious if he'll be a more recurring character, or if he'll be like Selena, where it's only like a limited engagement. So yeah, that's fun. Not much to talk about there. It wasn't a full-on trailer. It was just kind of like, hey, we're making this thing, deal with it.
That kind of flashback to a scene where I'm the Avatar, deal with it, Gore.
Yeah. Bob Iger came back this year, which was pretty. I forgot until this moment that, like, oh yeah, this would be his first D23 back since kind of coming back to the company. Shapex is gone, and it feels like he's doing a lot of like, hey, it's good to be back. I know things have been rough, but I'm here now. I'm your savior. I'm trying to fix things. And I think he handled it well. I think he was having fun with it. So the first thing up was the Marvel animation, the like mainstream Disney animation. And they didn't really show anything off. I guess they showed off a couple things. I guess the main thing was the Moana 2 trailer. Are you a fan of the Moana, I guess, franchise at this point? I guess it's becoming a Moana franchise with this movie and the live action movie. Is this a franchise that you're a fan of?
Yes, it's like I'm most likely going to be watching Disney well in my 50s, so it's just something like it's like a space away from the seriousness of the world, and it's nice to dive into fantasy. And Moana has good songs.
They have very good songs. They have phenomenal songs.
The one thing that's catchy from the last one is "You're Welcome," and it's always stuck in my head. It's basically now it's when someone thanks me, I'm like, "Yo," I start singing.
Yeah, Moana's my second favorite Disney movie. I genuinely love Moana. I've talked about this on the channel many times, but like that first movie came out at a time where I was like, I'm not watching as many Disney movies. I'm kind of doing my own thing. I'm kind of stepping away from it, and it really got me back into Disney, and I think really like cemented it as one of my like core interests for a while. Like that first movie was just such a huge deal for me. And then I was very excited when they announced we're doing a new one. We're doing a show. It was a series for the longest time. They announced the Tiana TV show and the Moana TV show along with Baymax and Zootopia Plus, right? Baymax and Zootopia came out. We were waiting for a long time. We found out this was going to be a movie. We still haven't heard about the Moana or the Tiana show. I really thought we were going to get a trailer at D23 for that. We did not. But what was your kind of thoughts on this trailer? This kind of first introduction. This is, I guess, our first official trailer, I suppose.
I'm just shocked that the boat snack and the boat snack upgrade wasn't included. I think this was mostly for the serious tone of it instead of the emotional tone, is what I'm saying. Instead of the funny tone, which it has both.
Sure. It
But
showed us a little.
I kind of want to see like the boat snack and the boat snack upgrade. That was funny.
um, yeah, I
I
mean,
do I do hope we get another chicken scream realizing he's on a boat again.
yeah. What, I don't even know what's happening here. Okay, here we go. Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely like this trailer. I liked it quite a lot. I think this is one of my favorite trailers to come out of D23 this year, and I think I just love the vibe that they're going with. Like, I think it kind of, it shows you everything you love about that first movie, but it's like, hey, this is kind of the overall plot. I love the like dynamic between her and her little new sister. I remember back when that first trailer came out, there was a lot of like speculation about if it was her daughter or if it was her sister, and I was like, it's clearly her sister, guys. Like it's you know, that's clearly who it's going to be. Um, Anything that surprised you from this trailer?
The daughter actually. Oh well, the sister basically. I didn't expect another kid. I thought she was like a solo child, so it's
Sure.
wow. I see what you did. You know I can see that.
Oh
um,
yeah, you can see that, can't you?
yep. um, what was I saying? uh, I forgot.
What I do think is kind of interesting about this one is that we're going for a full on Disney villain. Which, like, the first Moana movie didn't necessarily have a villain, right? It was, you know, we thought there was a villain, but it's like, all right, the island's dying. We need to find a new source. We need to bring this heart to whatever, but, you know, and there wasn't really like a full on, like, I'm a villain. And Disney's
No,
been doing a
he
lot.
was just mistaken.
Mhm.
He was a mistaken villain.
Yeah, no, yeah, there wasn't like a full on villain, and I do think it's interesting just from the little bits that we got there. Like, there's some kind of like witchy type of villain, some kind of like, I don't know, I don't know what she is. I'm very curious for us to get more, but whatever this purple light is that they're searching for is some kind of like mysterious mastermind of a villain.
Mhm.
So I'm excited. Like, I the last 10 years or so, and I don't know how much you've been following this, but there's been a lot of like there's been a lot of not villains in a lot of these Disney movies. Like, they're doing a lot of it's my mom, or there's like parental trauma or stuff like that in a lot of these movies. And I've actually personally liked that. But I do think there's been a cry from many people wanting more traditional villains. And I think Wish did this. Wish had a more traditional villain. I think that was very cool. Um, but I don't know. I didn't like Wish too much. So I'm curious to see how that goes.
Yeah, I think that don't get your hopes up too high because I think uh, the villain isn't really a villain either.
Mhm.
I think they're going to like it. He or she is like doing the same thing that uh, the demigod was doing, like mis- being like not on purpose trying to I don't I think it could like 180.
Okay, fair enough. Again, I'm curious because we know nothing about this villain yet, so it could turn
Mhm.
out to be anything. So I'm very curious. I do want to shout out, or not shout out, but I do want to mention that the grandma is in the trailer for this one, which I was not expecting her to come back. I love, like, she's one of my favorite characters in that first movie, so to kind of see her back and chilling, and Moana's going to have that moment, I feel like, where she's going to need some support on this mission, and she's gonna have a moment towards the end there, I would assume, of like, here's what you need to do, Moana. This is
I,
your new journey, which
I
I'm
felt
very
she
excited
was
for.
always going to be back because of the glimmer that basically it felt like she became the stingray or whatever in the water.
Hmm.
I felt like she was always going to be like back to kind of be like a force ghost to her, to be like, hey, this is where you need to go.
Mm-hmm. DH1, there's a villain inside the Moana 2 trailer, and we're just kind of speculating on who she is and what they're going to be doing.
He also wondered if we talked about Batman Cape Crusader.
Yeah, that's a change of plans. We're probably going to do that next week, just because Darth's not here, and I want to save that for him. All right. We got some questions in here we're going to go into. Why do you think Marvel Zombies and Eyes of Wakanda are 4 episodes each?
I hate when you do that.
Yeah,
they should be a different movie.
I kind of had the same thoughts. Okay, I think Zombies kind of makes sense with the 4-episode thing. That kind of feels like a little like anthology, just a 4 little journey or whatever. I did kind of have the same thought though. It's like if you're going 4 episodes, I guess depending on how long they are, like if they're like 4-hour-long episodes, I'm like, you know what, fair enough. It's like just like a mini series, that's fine. But if they're like 4 35 minute episodes, make a movie. Just put out like a 2.5-hour streaming movie.
I will be actually happy if each episode is 2 hours movie wise length.
Perfect. Each episode's 2 hours. Oh my god!
Yeah, like four movies split into 4 episodes. That would be like okay, I get that. Like that's fine. But like 4 episodes, 20 minutes long, no, thank you.
Sure. Absolutely. I we'll probably talk about that a bit later because we got some updates on some of that stuff. These episodes are going to be like 23 minutes long. Yeah.
You put this in the world. Just saying. You put it. Also, check your Twitter.
I hope not. I don't know. Zombies, I need just to come out already. Like Eyes, we've barely known about. I can wait a little bit for that. We've known about Zombies for like 4 years now, and I'm just put it out, man. Just get it out here. Yeah, this was everybody's favorite announcement on Friday. Everyone cheered. Everyone loved this. Dwayne Johnson will star in Monster Jam, a movie about monster truck drivers for Disney. Maybe it's just me. I'm not a monster truck guy, so I mean, maybe people will love this. I could not care less about this. Where are you at with it?
Not that it's whatever. I'm not excited about it. If it's interesting enough, I might check it out. But
yeah,
if it's like Cars, I might check it out.
It's interesting because they said he's going to be playing Dwayne Johnson, the actor, in the movie. Like he's playing himself in the film. So I don't know. It's I personally couldn't care. I thought they stopped building those. Nope, monster trucks are still very popular.
Yep.
Still a very popular thing. The first time I saw this announcement, I thought it was stupid. The like monsters from the Space Jam movie, the like Monstars or whatever. For some reason, I was like, oh, Space Jam, Monster Jam. I was like, oh, it's the Monstars from. No, that's not it. Different studio, different industry. But no, I mean, it kind of makes sense because it was. I don't know if it was rumored, if it was confirmed. I think it was confirmed a couple months ago that Dwayne Johnson had signed a new contract with Disney that would star him in 3 new live action films for them, or just maybe it was just 3 films in general. I'm not sure if it was live action. So this kind of makes sense because
I do think he's coming back for Jungle Cruise too.
That's yes. So like if it is 3 live action movies, that'd be Monster Jam, Jungle Cruise 2, and Moana 2026. So those are your 3 movies right there. Not to mention Moana 2. So he, you know what, like we joke about him a lot, and you know how he's kind of been in his after his post Black Adam world, but you know he's still doing good. Like he's still kind of if you like the man or not, he's still making that dough. He's still making that
I have
money.
not missed the Rock movie, so I mean, like, I don't get the jokes about him. He is a good actor. He does he does work, you know, like he should. He's also like, some of his movies are pretty good. Some of them don't like miss, but yeah, uh, I it's I like Black Adam. I don't know what, you know, like, I get why people didn't watch it, but at the same time, I liked it.
Mhm.
It
I
was entertaining.
I liked certain elements of it. I think it's a really fun, like, don't think about it too much kind of movie. Like, I had come back from a long day of work. I was like, listen, this is going to be a dumb action movie, and it was a dumb action movie. It's fun. Like, it's not my least favorite DCEU movie by a long shot. So, um,
Just
that is
because he
true,
plays him,
Josh.
just because he plays himself doesn't mean there's different aspects of yourself. So he's playing a different part of himself every time.
Which is why I liked Jumanji, because it felt like he
Yeah.
was getting to play a different character, which was
In
really
Jungle
refreshing for
Cruise,
him.
he's playing an old guy.
I'm curious because I think he's doing a new like A24 movie, I think, and that usually gets to stretch out some of these actors a little bit, so that's fun.
My favorite line from is actually from Rampage, I believe, and he basically is choking the life out of some guy and goes, "Yeah, it's a big arm. Don't fight it. Don't fight
Did you
it."
see the trailer for the like that new Christmas movie with him and Chris Evans? That
Yeah.
looks so stupid, but I'll be honest, I'll be there day one. I think like that looks so much fun.
And for me, Skyscraper was actually the most
Oh
emotional movie
wow,
he's
yeah.
ever done.
Been a while since I don't think I ever saw that one.
Oh,
I
it's a
remember
it's a tearjerker at some parts.
I
It's action packed
remember
though.
I don't remember what I was seeing, but I do remember it playing at the drive-in while I was seeing something else.
Hmm.
Maybe it was How to Train Your Dragon 2, perhaps? I don't know. Journey said, would you like Dwayne Johnson as Magneto? Personally,
No,
no. No.
no, I would
uh,
like Dwayne Johnson as a Rock. No, I'm joking.
I Dwayne Johnson is one that I don't necessarily need in the MCU. I think just purely because he is an actor of his size, you're always going to see them as, oh, that's Dwayne Johnson, right? That's that
Mhm.
guy. Same thing when like the like Taylor Swift rumors are going around that she was going to get her own like MCU show. You know, thoughts on the actress, you know, the singer aside, I personally really like her music aside. Like I was like, but you're just going to see Taylor Swift. Like you're not going to see
Mhm.
whatever character she'd be playing. Not saying not necessarily that's always a bad thing, but I don't know. I mean, I would assume eventually Dwayne the Rock Johnson gets some kind of MCU role. I bet he gets over there eventually. We'll see though.
I think he might be a CGI character like Thanos, kind of like
Oh,
he's.
that like a voiceover role could be cool.
Because
Hmm.
he does have that range.
I could see that.
But
That honestly would be one of the best options, actually, because it's
mhm.
like, well, yes, you're if you see him, that's Dwayne Johnson. But if you just hear the voice, maybe you could put that aside a little bit. I don't know.
I was
Interesting thought.
shot. We can say Deadpool, right? Well, spoilers, right?
Yeah, spoilers if you guys have not seen it. It's been 3 weeks, but spoilers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, go ahead.
I was shocked that Henry Cavill was back as that was like the most shocking thing reveal ever because I wasn't expecting it, and yeah, I know there was rumors about it, but I thought
Yeah.
that was BS. But yeah, I was completely shocked that he actually went to Marvel and was dressed up as Wolverine.
Yeah. I thought I honestly I was wondering because I thought it was going to be Radcliffe because like that was the big rumor for a while. I heard more about Radcliffe than I ever did about Cavill. Um, but it's
That
one
was,
of those things that it's hopefully out of people's system now. So now we can be like, all right, you've seen what he looks like. Hopefully now we can move on. Or some people want him as the main Wolverine now, which
That will well, obviously. There's going to be those people. But I have a sinking feeling that Daniel Radcliffe would be a variant in Secret Wars, just to be like, hey, he's there. I
maybe,
don't think he's going to be like the main Wolverine.
yeah,
I guarantee you, there's a better actor out there, not, besides Hugh Jackman. Um, I think it's going to be like a speaking to the fans kind of scene.
sure. Yeah, I think a lot like there we kind of got a little bit off topic, but that's completely fine.
Potter, what would be Pottervine? Wolver,
Daniel
Portervine?
Radcliffe. I don't know.
Daniel Veen.
I don't know, something. I mean that's the thing. Like I think there's a lot of cameos in this one where it's like, well, like where are this character and where's this character? And I do think there is going to be a couple where like, well, Secret Wars is going to have a couple cameos of themselves that aren't actual characters, because like I think a lot of the characters in Spider-Man, in Doctor Strange, and Deadpool will be actual characters in Secret Wars, right? That's the whole point, is bringing them all together now, for you don't have to later. They can all just work together. But I think you'll have like a Nicolas Cage. I think you'll have like a a like Xavier and stuff like that. And maybe Daniel Radcliffe will be one of the cameos there. Who knows? We'll see.
Because they don't have to have him in the overall story. They can basically open a portal and
Yeah,
there
just
he
show him for
is.
like 3 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like the montage of Deadpool where he went through the portals and like, hey, are you all right?
Did you like the yellow and brown better than the yellow and blue suit for Wolverine in the movie?
I like both because they were comic
Yeah.
book accurate.
I don't know. I'm a sucker for that yellow and blue. I'm just
Even the
for
short stack Wolverine, I like that. That was awesome.
I'm not an expert when it comes to the comics, but I appreciate. I've seen a lot of people want the yellow and brown as the main suit for the movie, but I think for the first ever proper like Wolverine suit in live action, I'm glad it was the yellow and blue. I'm glad that he was able to do that. And who knows? Maybe Kevin Feige will hear all the people wanting the like yellow and brown and be like, all right, for the first proper Wolverine in the MCU, here you go.
I think this is the first movie that we've actually seen White Eyes as, besides Spider-Man, White Eyes as the eye holes for a suit.
Yeah.
Which is weird to think about.
All right, we're gonna be moving on to Avatar. And I don't think there's a lot in terms of Avatar, but they did announce that Avatar 3 is titled Avatar Fire and Ash in theaters December 2025. That's next December. Are you an Avatar fan, or are you like, nah?
I'm like a subtle one. Like I watch it for just enjoyment, but I'm not like a fan. If you're like,
Sure.
I don't like look forward to it.
Yeah, I think I'm a very casual fan. Like I love these movies when they come out. Like I really did enjoy watching this in theater. I like The Way of Water was such a special like theater experience. It's like seeing that on the big screen was very special. But Avatar is not a franchise that Avatar was a franchise that I'm not consistently thinking about. Like every time they're like, "Hey, yeah, we own Avatar too," and it's like, "Oh yeah, I guess you do own Avatar. I guess that is one of your big properties now. That's crazy." I'm really excited for the like fire element to this. I don't know if we have the photo of the fire thing up here. It doesn't look like it. Oh no, here. Right? Yeah.
I think the fire is a double entendre. It means different than what we expect. Obviously, fire is like the like an element, but also I think James Cameron said it means something different than what it's intended for.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see what they do with it. I don't have much thoughts on it outside of, hey, it's happening, and I'll definitely see it when it comes out, but I'm not going to.
Fire and Ash is better than First Steps. I'll just say that.
Yeah, they also said that Avatar 3 has more emotional stakes than ever before. He had said there will be more cultures, biomes, and settings in Pandora never seen before. And I kind of think that's why people go to these movies. It's just see like the like new cultures and like the new
Mm.
environments and how gorgeous it looks on the screen. So yeah, I'll
I,
be there day one.
what's your bet on it being 2 billion again?
I think pretty likely. When did the last one come out? Was that also December?
2000, 2009 was the first one. The last one happened 2021
Yeah.
or
Let me see.
uh,
December 2025
22, 2022.
films. What comes out in December of that year?
It came out December 16th, 2022. That was the second one.
25 has insane like movies. Like there's so much big stuff coming out. Like Avatar, Fantastic Four, Superman, um, Jurassic Park or World or whatever. Thunderbolts, Blade. Apparently, we'll see. John Wick.
Apparently, it's in quiet limbo if you haven't caught up on the latest news about
Yeah, yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Um, but yeah, no, I'm excited. It'll make 1 billion easily. 2 billion, we'll see. I don't think it's a guaranteed 2 billion, but I think it's at least easily 1 billion. Easily, I think it has enough faith at this point, people, and I think they do a good job at not making them come out too close together. So
that. Mhm.
we'll see how it goes. All right, on to Pixar. First logo for Dream Productions, a series set in between Inside Out 1 and Inside Out 2. So we heard about this project a while ago. It was actually rumored like over a year ago. It was rumored like
Mhm.
there's an Inside Out series in the works. I was like, okay, cool. I want to wait to hear it officially from Disney until I, speak on it too much. First of all, are you a fan of the first two Inside Out movies? Did you recently see Inside Out 2, or
Well,
are
I
you
did.
waiting? Did you?
Yeah, I did. It's the second one. Not anxiety spoke to me more than sadness. Sadness in the first one was like didn't really like get to me, but anxiety did. Yeah, anxiety was like, "Hey, I'm your life. Let's go."
Sure. Yeah,
But
I
yeah.
yeah, I love these movies a lot. They're some of my favorite Pixar movies. That first movie's in my top 3 Pixar movies of all time. Adored this newest one. And I'm very excited for a series. I've pitched the idea of an Inside Out series for a while. Like I love the idea. I've said this on here, so I won't say much, but I love the idea like each season takes place in somebody
In
else's
someone
head.
else's head.
Like I think that'd be such a cool idea. So maybe this is my stepping stones to getting there. But this series follows the Dream Productions, the movie studio inside Riley's mind that makes up her dreams. I think this sounds like what Pixar does best. And I think it's a perfect kind. And actually, this is kind of what I want a little bit more from Pixar, because I think Pixar has some just such unique concepts and ideas, and I feel like sometimes instead of being sequels, sometimes I'd be like, hey, I'm gonna do a spinoff, right? We're gonna be talking about Toy Story 5 here shortly. I would have preferred a Toy Story spinoff instead of a sequel. And it kind of feels like what they're doing here, where it's like, hey, we got this really cool concept within a really cool concept. Why don't we give them their own little spinoff? And yeah, do you have any kind of thoughts on this show and what it could be, or kind of where you're at with that? Hello, one Marvel fan. How's it going?
Um, I think it will be kind of it. I think it would be interesting if we get like each episode it's in someone else's head. Like we get like
Cool.
glimpses of other people.
That'd be cool.
Um,
Maybe in
like
season 2,
what
if this gets a second
what would
season.
what would Riley's boyfriend be thinking during puberty? What would
Yeah.
Riley be thinking? It's kind of like getting an inside perspective in the woman's psyche. I kind of like it.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like again, that's been kind of my pitch, is like the opportunities for the Inside Out universe I think is endless. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You could be like, all right, first season we're going into the mind of like an 80-year-old man, and then next it's like a pregnant woman or something, and then season 3 it's maybe like a kid with autism, right? Season 4 maybe it's someone that's like trying to come out for the first. Like, there's so many different like
And we might get
opportunities with that.
nostalgia. We might
I
get nostalgia on one of them.
I know, and it's so I feel like there's so many possibilities with that. Or even someday, maybe if you do like a Riley trilogy or whatever, and then maybe after a couple years, like, hey, here's a new trilogy with a new I don't know. Like, there's definitely something in there, and I think out of all the Pixar franchises, I think Inside Out has the biggest potential to like grow and evolve in terms of what it's doing with its new projects. But no, that comes out next year. I'm very excited. I am curious what they're going to be. Why it's set in between 1 and 2. Like it's in that middle slot. So I guess we're going to be dealing with a slightly younger Riley in this one. So I'm excited for that. I'm curious to see how that goes. All right, next up, Pixar's first long-term series, Win or Lose, will release December 6th on Disney Plus. This is another one. They didn't post a trailer here. That's kind of but they did release a trailer for that, thankfully. We've been waiting for this one for a while as well. Like, I feel like since almost the beginning of Disney Plus, they've been teasing this, being like, hey, this is coming. It's coming. I'm like, okay, cool, show me. I want to see it. I'm excited. It's weird because I don't know if you've heard what the concept of the series is, but the plot of the show is that it takes place the whole series takes place in the gap of one baseball game, one softball game, but each episode is from the POV of a different player. I was like, all right, that's really cool. I'm excited for this trailer to give me some context. The trailer gave me zero context. I have no idea what that trailer was. I was like, this is cool. I don't know. It looks like Inception. It looks crazy. It looks wild. Did you watch this trailer? Did this excite you at all, or are you like, nah?
With the animation, it doesn't really like scream my style. So I mean, like, I'm very picky when it comes to how characters are drawn.
Sure.
They don't look like I guess the great way to explain it is Frozen is my style of drawing. Princess and the Frog is my style of drawing. Cinderella, Lion King. You get it. This looks like bizarre.
I think this looks pretty on par with what a lot of Pixar is, though, especially the more recent. It's very Turning Red. It's very Luca. I'm personally a fan of it. So, but I'm curious. These two shows, though, I think are very important. So, like, if you're someone that's like, hey, Pixar, I would like more shows from you in the future, watch these two shows, because they have said if these shows don't do well, we're done with the TV. We're going to stick to the movie side of things. And I think Win and Lose is going to be a huge thing, because I feel like it's the first ever original Pixar show. So that's very exciting to me. I'm excited to see where that goes. Both of these seem very promising.
Speaking of Pixar that I'm like drawn to are like Incredibles, Cars, Finding Nemo, Brave. Let's see. That's basically it. Oh, Planes too.
Planes is not Pixar, but yes.
Well, it says it is.
I think it's like from another animation studio within Disney. It's not technically Pixar, but
WALL-E. There.
WALL-E's a good one. Which, I mean, good transition to Toy Story 5. First logo for Toy Story 5. Andrew Stanton is set to direct it. He worked on WALL-E, I suppose, in theaters 2026. Okay, we have some new insights on this, and we're going to look at that in a second. But what's your kind of like off the bat, when this was announced like a year ago, were you one of the people that were excited, or were you one of the people that were quite angry by the production of this?
I'm not angry, but I'm not excited either. It's basically I watched my fill of it. Like after the second one, I was pretty much done.
After the second? Yeah. You didn't like 3?
I haven't watched 3, 4, or 5. Well, I haven't watched 5 either.
But 3?
No. I know about Forky. I know about Forky. If that's
Wow.
Forky,
Okay.
is
So
it
I guess
is
you won't have
three
much
about
opinion on
Forky?
this next one.
Is
What's that?
three about? Is it three about Forky?
4 is Forky.
Okay.
3 is the daycare with Lotso. I would highly recommend 3. 3 is my personal favorite Toy Story movie. It's in my top 5 Pixar. So I would personally recommend 3. But no, I mean
I'll
this
give it a try.
this yeah, this was very controversial when it came out. And I think many people were upset by it, me included. I would have preferred if they didn't do a Toy Story 5 directly, or at least the way that they're currently looking at it. And I think mainly, I think if they wouldn't have marketed the last movie as the final Toy Story, I would have been okay. Because like a lot of people didn't like going into Toy Story 4. And like I defended going into Toy Story 4. Like everyone was like, "Oh, they ended at 3." I was like, I don't necessarily think it had to have. I think like it ended the Andy arc. It ended their spoilers, I guess, but it's been like 20 years, so whatever. It's been what, like 15 years? It's whatever. But like I was like, okay, that could have been an end of that era, and I was totally fine entering this new Bonnie era. But
14
then
years.
yeah, 14, something like, it's been a very long time. I was little when the first one, when Toy Story 3 came out. But going into 4 with this new Bonnie era, I would have been very much okay if they just did a new trilogy. But they also marketed this one as the final movie. And now they're doing it again. And it's like, you can't keep tricking your audience like that. Like, you can't keep tricking them into going to the movie saying, hey, this is the last one. This is our final one. Say goodbye. Just to swipe it under the rug. Swipe it.
Yeah.
You can't keep doing that to your audience. So I think, I don't know. I definitely want them to just don't say it this time. Just
The
do it.
one thing that I kind of, speaking of like the marketing as the last movie, the one thing I kind of like got peeved at was Shrek, because Shrek Forever After was intended to be the last one, and I didn't think it was. I knew I knew that, like, with a franchise like that, they're destined to come back, just like Incredibles.
Yeah, and also with Shrek, with it recently coming back, it also had a huge wait. Like at the time, hey, that's the final one, and they meant it for a very long time. It's taken them, isn't it 14? When was the last one? Wasn't it like? Isn't it almost 20 years at this point? Not quite. Isn't like, I looked up. I think it was like 14, 15 years.
2010, 14 years.
14 years. That is crazy. And it's going to be a couple, it's set for 2026, right? Yeah, it's currently set for 2026.
I guarantee you that when this does come back with Shrek 5, it's going to reach $1 billion.
And these are supposed to be in the same like month. Like Toy Story 5 and Shrek 5 are in the same month.
Mm-hmm.
Which one of them will move?
I'm kind of like happy that Cameron Diaz is coming out of retirement for this movie, because it's nice when the original actors come back. I if they have to, I don't like when they recast actors. For example, Megamind. I don't like when they recasted Will Ferrell.
Yeah,
I didn't like that decision.
Do we think they do the Barbieheimer and they somehow able to combine it where it's like Shrek story? I don't know, Shrek story or something, because like these are two movies people will go see. Like I think both of these movies are I don't know, like these are both $1 billion movies. I think like as much people is hating on Toy Story 5, every single person complaining is going to go watch that movie. They just are. People love toys. They can't help themselves. They're going to do it. It's just plain and simple.
I will be like, it will be funny to if Toy Story 5 and Shrek came out in the same like month and both reached $1 billion.
I think I don't know. I could see Pixar being scared and moving it because I do think Shrek might do better in terms of just because it's been so much longer since the last Shrek movie, and Toy Story is still kind of fresh. But yeah, I'm excited about this. We don't have to spend too much time on this.
I am excited about Incredibles 3 though.
We will begin there in just a second. Trust me. I am very excited to get there. So this was the first bit of concept art from the movie. I know, again, you said you haven't been caught up. I personally really like. I'm actually kind of mixed on the concept. So they've described it as it's going to be the toys versus technology, and I kind of have two states of mind with this. For one, this is a slippery slope. I think you can tell very good anti-technology stories if they're done right, if it's done with enough, I don't want to say respect, but I think just like, I don't know, knowing how far you can go before it gets preachy, because it can very easily get preachy. I don't want to go into Toy Story being like, oh my gosh, you're trying to tell me not to be on my phone. Like, I don't want that to be the takeaway.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I do think that's a really fun concept for a Toy Story movie.
I
What happens? Go ahead, sorry.
I think when they do this, it's going to be like you can love technology while also having imagination.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to kind of like find a middle ground to do both. I don't think
Yeah.
they're going to be like technology is bad. Guess what? To make a movie, you need technology, and to
Sure.
make money, you need to send it to a technology, aka a theater.
Yeah.
So I
And
mean, like, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, no, and just like I think in terms of like the POV of a toy, I think this is a very fascinating concept of just like
Mm,
what, and it's so real in like the real world as well. It's like kids aren't really playing with toys anymore. They have iPads, they have phones, they have, whatever that, the like newest technology is. They're playing with apps, they're watching YouTube. They're not playing with toys. I have like a like 8-year-old brother. He doesn't have that many toys. He has a Switch, and he has an iPad, and he has a phone, and he doesn't really play with toys. And it's a very interesting thing. And in terms of our characters, what do they do when they're not getting paid attention to anymore? Like, I think that's a great concept. A concept I think could have been done even with a new set of toys. Like, I don't
mm.
necessarily think it needed to be the same bunch we've had for the last 20 years, but this did make me a little bit more excited. We had the Buzz thing also here, where it's like that's an army
Oh,
of
the
50 Buzz
villains are going
Lightyears.
to be a Buzz Lightyears.
I was like, all right, this seems. I hope they're not like the only villain. I don't know. Like, I hope it's someone kind of like,
It seems like a rehash of
yeah.
Toy Story 2. Like, I think there was like a bunch of boxes of Buzz Lightyear in one of the movies.
They did that in 2. There was a bunch of Buzz Lightyears, and
Okay.
but they also did this in 3, where there was like like Buzz they turn the switch on, and he turns into like an evil version of himself, and it's just like, all right.
Wow.
It's like I don't know. I feel like there could be better concepts here. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to judge it already. Maybe they do something really cool with it. But
And it's kind of like weird that they're going to bring back Tim Allen for Buzz Lightyear when they recast him in Buzz.
yeah, in the Lightyear movie, yeah. But also that was supposed to be a different character, so I personally wasn't against it there. But I also didn't like Lightyear that much, so
Mm,
that was just me.
neither did I. I didn't
Um,
even watch it.
all right, and also the original announcement, which is one of the things I was most excited for. Pixar's new original movie, Hoppers, follows a girl who switches brains with a beaver to learn the secret of beavers. This has been getting a lot of hate in terms of like, this sounds weird, this sounds kooky. And I was like, yeah, that's Pixar. Like, their whole thing is like doing new ideas, doing new, I don't know,
Someone messaged
interesting.
you.
I did see that. I'm afraid to look it up. I don't want it to be. I'll look it up on my phone. But like, while I look that up, what's your kind of thoughts on this announcement, or do you have any thoughts on the announcement?
It's it's a thing that it's an original that I'm not like I don't know anything about, so
Sure.
I'm going into it blind. So I don't like. I'm not excited about it. It's hopping, I guess.
Yeah, I'm excited because I'm always very excited for a new Pixar. That's always kind of, there's a lot of talk right now where it's like, well, like, why is there so many reboots and sequels? And I understand why, but also I love these original, and I think it's what makes Pixar Pixar. Inside Out 2 is great this year, but I also loved Elemental last year, and I loved Soul, and I personally loved Luca, and there's been some good stuff from Pixar recently. So I'm excited to see what this is. I'm always very open to
Coco
new
was my
Pixar
favorite.
projects. Coco's great. It's crazy. We're going on 10 years since Coco came out, right? In 2 years, it's its 10th anniversary.
Wow. It seems like it was only like 5 years ago.
I know, it's crazy. Elio didn't get much updates either. It was just like, hey, it's still coming out. And we're like, cool. I'd love to see more. And then
Incredibles 3.
easily my favorite my favorite announcement at
Yes.
D23. That was a very high on my bucket list. I was talking about on the pipeline this week. I was like, hey, me and Joypad Jake was on, and like we were saying, like, hey, these actors aren't getting any younger. You might want to get on the ball if you're going to do Incredibles 3.
I hope this one will be about them going back into being heroes in society. It's if it's the kids, I'm like, okay. If like, you know how the first movie was Mr. Incredible going and being a hero in the secret, and then the second one was about the Elastigirl going into the world to be a hero in secret. I hope the third one isn't the kids going into the world to be heroes in secret.
I want them to finally be a team. Like I would really like to see it be a team movie, because I actually think that's the fun bits of both Incredibles 1 and 2, and we're all kind of working together, right? It takes the end of the first movie for us to get there, which is great. I think that first Incredible movies is perfect. I did think the second one was a bit of a misstep for me personally. I thought it was okay, but I didn't love it.
It had its fun moments. It had its I guess what the heck were they thinking moments, and then there was like some like over the top fun. It had all of its parts for me. But like I said, the first one was so good. The second one not so good, but still good.
Yeah.
I hope the third one lands really well.
Yeah, I definitely want them to, not necessarily, I guess they don't need to redeem themselves, but I would like a bit of a comeback in terms of, it's hard, because I legitimately think that first Incredibles movie is like the best superhero movie ever made. Like I think it's nearly a masterpiece for me. So maybe I just need to lower my standard just a little bit. Like it's not going to beat the first one for me. I think that the bar is too high for me. But I'm happy that they're getting a trilogy. I think out of all the Pixar franchises, I think they deserve it.
Yeah. And
I'm trying to think, is this the third Pixar franchise to get a trilogy next to Toy Story and Cars?
It has shorts too, which is kind of,
yeah.
It gives you like a little space to be like, hey, there's a little bit of eggs right here. Let's eat on that, and then wait a few years, and then you get a new one.
yeah, and again,
Baby
like
Jack.
Yeah, and like even in terms of like a plot, I don't even know what I necessarily want. I just want them to be like, hey, make me a really good Incredibles movie. I'm excited to see what you do. Explore with like the genre of the current line, like the like current climate, because it's interesting, because like when that first Incredibles movie came out, superheroes weren't, people liked them, but they weren't like as popular as they are now. So I think it's been interesting when 2 came out, and even like when 2 came out, it was top of the game. Like superhero movies were. It was 2018, Infinity War and stuff was coming out. Like we had some of the biggest movies of all time, superhero movies of all time coming out. Now I do think we're going to a bit of like, okay, there's a lot of superhero movies. So what are you going to be adding to the genre? What are you adding to this grand long slot of content?
I think it's kind of funny how they're doing it. Like we have really good movies like Finding Nemo. We have
hey Cameron.
Incredibles, and then years later, when you think all hope is lost, they give you it. They give you the sequel, and they're like, "Ha, tricked you."
It's also really crazy, is because what? Okay, so Toy Story they said is 2026. I think the Beaver movie's 2027. This might be 2028, which would mean 10 years since Incredibles 2. which is
Yeah.
crazy. It's
What was the
crazy.
what was the time frame for the first and the second one?
It was like 15 years. It was like
Okay, so
it was a
it's
huge jump. So
I
it's
mean,
better than
still
that.
15 and 10 years is kind of like it's short, but at the same time, the same length in the terms of we haven't seen it in a very long time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's oh my gosh, it's crazy. They take a while with these, which I think is good. Like it makes us want them more. Like if they were coming out
I
every 2 to 3 years, I'd be like, well, it's too much, right? I think it works because there is such limited amount of them. But
that snake right there, that's on that, yeah, that looks a lot like the drawing of have you
Ka?
seen no, it's the one where Robin Hood, you know, the Disney animation
Oh
Robin Hood,
yes, yes,
that looks like that snake.
that's fair. And like the snake from Robin Hood also looks like Ka, so it's probably it's very similar. I saw like a lot of people saying he looked like Ka. I don't really have much to mention on the like Zootopia 2 stuff. They didn't really give us anything outside of Kite Kwan will be playing a character in the movie, which I love him. I'm happy for him. I don't have much to say on it, but it's hey, he's here. Cool.
Remind me, Utopia is the bunny rabbit, right?
It is, yes.
Okay,
Bunny and
cool.
the Fox, yes. Which I'm very excited for them that to get a sequel. I think that could be like Disney's like Knives Out, where it's just like each movie's a different mystery. That's a fun little thing or whatever. And that's next year as well. So good on them.
One that I'm more excited about is Frozen 3. Yeah,
Frozen
as
3,
I'm a
I
huge Olaf fan.
hell yeah, I'm glad that you're excited. We didn't get much on Frozen 3 either, which makes sense. It's still Frozen 3 won't come out until 2027.
Mm-hmm.
And they
The end
kind
of
of
the film is already being teased. That's mind blowing. Like they know it's going to be good.
well, yeah, and what I think is so interesting about this whole thing is they've teased the part 1, part 2 story, which Disney animation has never done. That's never been a
Mm-hmm.
thing, right? Marvel's done that, other franchises have done that. Disney's never been like, hey, we're making 2 movies, they're part of one large story, so get ready for this huge
Well,
thing. And I think that's really cool.
you could say they've done that because isn't Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse and Beyond the Spider-Verse part 1, 2, and 3?
Yes, but that's Sony, and I guess what I meant by like Disney was like the like Disney Animation Studios has never done something like this. But but again, it's in a very similar fashion where it's like stuff like that's done it, and it's been very cool, and I'm excited to see just kind of I don't know where it goes. I love Frozen. I know people. I don't know. I think Frozen is such like a hate boner for people. It's like, why is there more Frozen? It was just like, I don't know, because people like it. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's just because it's popular, we must hate on it. And I was like, I don't know. I
There's
personally really love them.
yeah, their songs are so catchy, and the like "Let It Go" is now my like. Uh, if life's too hard, let it go. Like that's basically my motto. I learn stuff. I take it to heart when I watch these Disney movies because even if they sometimes preach to us, they have good talking points.
Yeah.
When
I'm just
life
kind of
doesn't go
looking at.
your way, they go.
I'm just kind of looking at this concept art here. I didn't really
Is
look
that
at it
from?
too much before. Yeah, this is concept art for Frozen 2. I didn't really look at it too much before, but I do like both Anna and Elsa are on like different paths, right? She's in her little ice kingdom, Anna's in Arendelle, and I didn't notice this little shadowy Viking figure over in the corner here. I didn't notice that until now, right inside the pond.
Yeah, we don't. That's done with the light touches. We don't go over there. Lion King reference.
So yeah, I'm excited for that. We don't have much, happening there, but when we do, I'm excited to talk about that. Stage musical adaptation of The Greatest Showman. I feel like I don't need to talk about that, but hey, that's cool.
No, that's cool. Yep,
Yeah, that's
it's
cool. It's good. It's good for
greatest.
them.
It's the greatest musical adaptation.
Moving on to Star Wars. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but I feel like I should
I
cover some of
am.
this. Yep, you are. So I guess you can kind of hold us over here. The first trailer for Star Wars Skeleton Crew has been released, and
I,
with a premiere date of December 3rd. A lot coming out in December this year. That's very exciting. You're like a Star Wars guy. Are you excited for the show? Did this catch your interest?
I it did at first until I saw the trailer. Then I'm like not too sure, but I'm still gonna watch it because it is targeted for adults. I think. From what I gathered in the trailer, it felt like the tone was a bit to the kids' side, and I didn't
Mm-hmm.
like that. When I think of like um, Star Wars, it kind of like it's for more mature audience, and I felt like it was touching on kids' side more, especially with the kids in the forefront. I'm not saying they're bad or whatever. I'm just saying like it, it feels like Star Wars Tales of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
It
I
didn't feel like the Star Wars.
I mean, I just as a non-Star Wars fan, like I know Star Wars is such a divisive thing. It definitely reminded me of like Star Wars is Goonies. Star Wars is almost like Harry Potter of sorts. And I think Star Wars has always been a little goofy. Like, despite what people say, Star Wars is silly. It's a silly franchise, and that's okay. That's a good thing. Um,
What's goofy
as
about
as
it?
as 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 a as a very casual fan, this looks fun. Am I
Yeah,
excited? Not really, because I'm not really that big into Star Wars. But it looks like a fun time, and I feel like it's been getting a little less flack than Star Wars sometimes gets, which is exciting. Hopefully people will accept this. Hopefully people
I
won't
will.
hate on it on arrival like they do with some other projects.
I will
So
say that the last part started to feel like the tone I grew up to love, where they realized that there's a Jedi. So it feels like it's going to be like a mixture of like talking to the kids generation while also trying to do adult tone. So
sure.
because there's adults in it, so you have to have like adults can't talk like kids, you know. But it did feel like a journey, a kid's journey. Like there's a bunch of kids in the forefront. I don't know what the story entails, so I'm kind of like intrigued by it. I hope it's not like Hobbit where we go on a journey for 4 episodes where the kids finally meet the Jedi in the last episode.
Do we know how many episodes this has?
I think it's 8.
8. Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, it looks fun. They talked a lot about Andor. I have not finished Andor, so I have nothing to say. I thought it was good. I know you're not a huge fan of it either. So
I'm not a fan of the character. I'm okay with the series. I'm just not a fan of the character.
okay, fair enough.
The character was to me felt boring. The female in the Rogue One was more entertaining than Andor.
Yeah. And then the Grogu and
That I'm
sorry,
excited
the
about.
the Amanda and Grogu movie. I've also not finished Mandalorian, so that should tell you. That
Oh,
should tell you, which is weird because I love Mandalorian. Like I think those, it's probably my favorite thing that Star Wars ever done. But
I didn't think they would pull off Zeb, and they did. I was so shocked that and they brought back the voice actor for him too. So
is he in
and it was
Rebels or is he in
yeah
Clone Wars?
yeah
He's in
he was
Rebels.
in
Okay,
Rebels.
I haven't seen Rebels, so I
Um,
have no idea who he is.
Chopper still has attitude, which I loved. It felt like Chopper.
Yeah,
I'm kind of intrigued of because this is supposed to somehow wrap up all the Star Wars stories. Kind of like bring them all to a conclusion of sorts.
of this
Which
era. Yeah,
this era, yeah. So I'm kind of like I I really, 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 really hope that we get a Ezra Bridgers and uh, Cal Kestis story somehow. I want Cal Kestis in live action. If you ever played Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order, he's like an awesome gray Jedi.
I think I do personally think it's pretty smart what they're kind of doing, because it seems like we're finally getting Star Wars back in the movies, which I think is good. It's needed. I think it needs to be back there. But it does seem like we're starting with The Mandalorian and Grogu as kind of a wrap up to this Disney Plus era, right? It seems like it's going to combine the Mandalorian and the Ahsoka and not Andor, right? Because that's a different timeline. Like that's a different,
Wait
right?
a second.
And Skeleton Crew. So
Did Mandalorian happen exactly after Rise of Skywalker?
I'm not sure about the timeline of it all. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm
I
not
have
deep
to
into
check.
the lore of
If
Star Wars.
if
You
it
can't
is, if it is, I'm going to be like, I
I
see
think it
what
takes place before the sequel, or the sequels. I think it takes place before the sequels, but I could be wrong. Doesn't it
No, no,
take
I
place?
mean not. I don't mean taking place before the sequel. I mean something else that I will say as soon as I clarify it.
Okay.
Um, November 12th, 2019 was the first one. When did Skywalker come out?
Oh, you mean like when it came out? It took
Yeah.
it came out after the Rise. Well, no, right before the Rise of Skywalker. It came like they were airing at the same time.
Okay, so it's basically the same thing. Either or, it was around the same time. If it was like 3 years, my theory wouldn't be much as accurate. I think
Yeah.
what they're doing is they gave us so much space between Skywalker Saga and like we had this like gap. So they gave us Mandalorian, all these other things, and then they're doing Mandalorian Grogu before and wrapping up the Disney Plus, because they're going into the Skywalker saga again with another Rey movie and um, Dawn of the Jedi, and
The
there's
New
another one,
Republic, right? That new
New
kind of
Republic. Yeah.
yeah.
So they're doing 3 different movies surrounding this the rise of the Skywalker. So I think that's the reason why it's taking why they gave us this gap. Like
Yeah.
they gave us like a buffer piece to keep us entertained until the next Star Wars movie,
Yeah.
which I think
And
was
also,
smart.
I mean, also in fairness, a lot of it was not planned, right? It's a lot of like,
Yeah.
oh, this guy dropped out. Oh, it's COVID and strikes and blah blah blah. Like, there's been
Mm-hmm.
so much production stuff. So it is what it is. I will also say, pardoning thing when it comes to Star Wars, one of Disney's big movies is not coming out in May. Either Avengers gets pushed back or this gets pushed back, depending on how fast they make Avengers, right? But like, there's
Yeah.
no way this is coming out the same month as Doomsday. They would be burning money. They would be.
I think there's an untitled Star Wars in December. I
Mhm.
think but I also think this could be pushed up. I think.
I think.
Wait,
I
wait,
think,
wait. Is
Sorry,
this May 4th? May 4th.
this is 26.
Okay, so if I think Avengers will be pushed back. I don't. I think Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu is going to stay at May 4th, and then
Do you
have
think so?
and then the untitled Star Wars film that's in December will be either the Rey, um, the Dawn of the Jedi, or the New Republic.
Yeah.
I
I
think they're sticking
I
with
do
that.
always kind of like that, like Christmas time for Star Wars, though. Like, I do
Yeah.
kind of feel like that's a bit of the culture around it. So
And the reason why I think, like from May to December is a big a gap. So like there's enough, like you said, there's enough time to breathe between movies. So I think it's a good, if it May, February, like somewhere around there. I think it's a
yeah,
big enough break between movies for
yeah,
them to be like not like uh what's the word, like getting enough, too much of it.
yeah. I think I think what they would be pretty smart to do is I think they could easily dominate every Christmas if they're like, all right, this
Mm-hmm.
Christmas Star Wars, next Avatar, next Christmas, like Star Wars and Avatar, just keep rotating each year because like obviously you don't want both at once, right? You don't want two of your biggest franchises at once,
Yeah.
but kind of alternate, if you will.
But
All right,
I
now we're
think
moving.
I
Go ahead, sorry.
think the main reason why we are why it's jam packed is because they need this, and then after this year, after 2026, they're going to be like you said. There's going to be Avengers 1 year, and then there's going to be Star Wars the
Yeah.
next, basically like that.
Yeah, I think they're going to be, not to get off track because, I do want to, we do have to wrap up here shortly, but like, I think they got a lot of good IPs coming out their way. Like Star Wars is back, obviously Avatar, they're trying to get those out every couple years now, it seems. And then even at Marvel, like you have Avengers properties coming out, but you also have like big stuff like Fantastic Four and X-Men and stuff like that that are like big IPs that I think people will go see no matter what most of the time. So I think that's cool. But speaking of Marvel, good transition here. I'll be honest, I was so disappointed with the Marvel panel. Most of
Yeah,
and a little bit of that is because most of it was for the people that were in the audience, right? And that's fair enough. But me as a fan who is not in the audience, I was disappointed. I was hoping we'd at
yeah.
home get a little bit more.
I get. I think the D23 of next year is going to be the where they announce the slates, more confined slates.
Yeah.
Um, I really, really hope they don't announce jack anything at San Diego Comic Con.
Well, here's the
I-
thing. The thing is, something I always forget about, D23 is every 2 years, so there won't be one in 2025. There will
oh,
be
there
one in
won't be.
2026. But next San Diego is going to be insane because we will have just got Superman, and we will also have about to get Fantastic Four in the same month.
Okay, yeah.
So
I
it's going
think they
next.
should. I think they
Sorry, sorry.
should announce Phase 6, the complete slate at San Diego Comic Con. Then if it's every 2 years.
I'm thinking New York Comic Con maybe in October. I think that's a little bit removed. That's only a couple months away from Captain America 4. They could be like, all right, because I'll to be honest, I'm not sure. I think they might actually just save Phase 6 till after Secret Wars. I think they might just be like, screw it. Let's just finish the saga here and then start Phase 6 with the Mutant Saga. But there's a bunch of projects that we just don't know about that like they have a
Yeah,
bunch of open slates and they're like, well, they come out before Secret Wars, so we got to learn about that. They got to start production on some of these projects that they're still supposed to be coming out. So I think we might learn about that in October.
right now, at least, Phase 5 ends with Thunderbolts. So
Yeah, it could. I mean, maybe it's possible, but
as of right now, I mean they could stretch it out because it Phase 5 seems very, very short.
yeah. I mean that's what I also think it was just Phase 4 was so long, so it like in comparison, it's like Phase 4 was almost like 20 projects with if you're counting movies and TV.
Still think that was like a stupid decision. I think with the TV show, I think with TV show, it should be like they should be introduced in the film and then brought into a TV show. I think they did it smartly with
Hello.
Endgame, where where Steve Rogers gave the shield to Sam. They didn't technically need the TV show, but they added more context to the fact that he didn't really want he didn't uh, he wasn't sure he was the right fit for the shield,
I
and
think that should have been a movie. I
yeah.
think that should have been Captain America 4, and
Hmm.
then this should have been Captain America 5.
Yeah.
Maybe alter it a little bit, maybe combine the storyline, because I do kind of agree. I don't necessarily think we needed a whole show to show that
Hmm.
Sam wanted to take the mantle. Like I loved a lot of that, but I think I would have combined a little bit of that, what they did there, and a little bit of what they're doing in Captain America 4 now into one kind of story. And then I don't know, maybe like we could have been on Captain America 5 at this point. I feel like,
I
but
do hope they flashback with this with the Marvels. They kind of did that with both TV shows where they kind of gave us context so they're not completely lost.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, I think they have to. Like, there's a lot in
yeah,
like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. that they're going to need context for.
Mhm.
Um, and I think
I,
even I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think a great way to do it is, in you know how like Steve Rogers wakes up from a coma, it kind of like that, but but he's just waking up from sleeping. But also in his dream, we get like a glimpse of like a montage of previously on Falcon, like kind of like that, but without the previously on Falcon Winter
Yeah,
Soldier. But we get like a whole like montage of what happened, and he's waking up from it, like.
yeah. I'm very curious, not to get off track because I'm trying to move this along a little bit here, but like I'm very curious about Thunderbolts because Thunderbolts is a sequel to so many different things. Like if like it's a direct sequel to Black Widow mainly, but also Captain America or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and also
Mhm.
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and also a bit of Hawkeye. Like it's so many different kind of sequels, and I'm wondering how they're going to be. Like I feel like that's a movie where like if you haven't been caught up on Phase 4, you might be screwed. You know what I mean?
I would
Or
say that this is basically a mini Avengers movie
a little bit.
if you think about it, like the Avengers one was like five different movies combined into one, and Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, basically all of those elements rolled up into one movie. I think that's what Thunderbolts is like you have five different projects roll up into one movie,
Hmm.
aka Thunderbolts.
We got this behind the scenes cast photo for Fantastic Four. We get a glimpse at least one of the Fantastic Four suits on Johnny. A lot of people don't like this suit. I personally really vibe with it. I kind of enjoy it. I also think, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. I also don't think this is their official suit. I think this
I
is like
yeah,
a proto suit.
people don't realize that there is a purpose to each suit. Like there's stealth suits, there's space suits, there's flashy suits. I think this is like one of those specific suits, like they have to wear for a specific task.
I, it could just be their space suits. Like it could just be like
Yeah.
what they're wearing to go into space or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I again I love how cheesy it looks. I think also people forgetting this movie's set in like the 1940s. So like I
1960s.
19 is it 1960? Okay, I
It's
mean
a future. It's a futuristic 1960s.
yeah.
That's what they described it as.
So like these, some people aren't going to like these suits, but they're going to. I think they're going to look cheesy, and I think that's the
Mm.
point. I think they're supposed to look a little cheesy. So I personally like it. I do wish they would have done like an official like photo shoot kind of thing, just show all the cast in their suits and put it out to the public. I think this being our first official, and I guess we kind of got that fan art right, like almost what back in the spring.
Well, after San Diego Comic Con, they literally started filming.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they could have done a photo shoot prior to starting filming. Just be like, all right, these are going to leak out. They're going, you guys are going to see these suits out in the street. Here's your general whatever. All right, moving along here. Daredevil Born Again. So
I
this
really,
was.
I can't. Oh, sorry
Go
to.
ahead. Go ahead. It's fine.
I kind of hoping that the Punisher actually sparks another um kind of revisal of his series because I
Mhm.
really like that show. But go on.
Yeah, no, I mean, this was everyone and their mother said, well, yeah, we're going to get that Daredevil Born Again trailer this week. And they were right. The people at D23 did see a Born Again trailer, just not for us. Now, it did leak online. Did you watch the leaked trailer, or were
Nope.
you one of the good people that didn't?
I didn't know it happened, so
Okay.
I can't
But
be good or bad.
yeah, it was. I mean, I was on a stream when they watched it, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm watching it. I mean, I can say I really liked the trailer that I saw in the very, very poor quality that it was. It got me very excited. Where like I had a little bit of like skepticism about like what we're doing. Obviously I was very excited, but I was worried too. You could get this wrong. And it looks very good. I'm very excited. I won't say anything else. We're going to zoom through some of this because, yeah, there's not much here, but, Punisher's back. That's really exciting. We already kind of knew season 2 was coming, but they're filming that soon, which is exciting. I'm wondering if they want to get both season 1 and 2 out before Spider-Man 4. I have a theory on that.
I get the reason why they're shortening it, but at the same time, I really hope it's not 13 and 8. Like, I hope they stick to the 13 for season 2.
Season 9 is only, or season 1 is 9 episodes, so I'm going to assume it's going to be 9 and 9, which equals the 18 that we heard.
Yeah, that's why I hate that idea. I think
it's a good number.
No, I mean, like, I hate that they split it up. I think it should have been one season.
I think they're treating it as it's one season. Like, I think they redesigned it. The season is just 9 episodes, and then it'll be a season 2 with another 9. Which, I mean, again, like, at one point in time, we were looking at an 18 episode season, which is crazy that we were there at one point.
I kind of want I the only way I'll accept this is if they're actually the same amount of minutes long
minutes.
as the original show.
I want a 50 episode or a 50-minute episodes, or like 45-minute with ads or whatever. Like,
there's
I think
like 40, and I hope they do something similar with the intro of what the Netflix show had. That was cool. That was like unique.
This was one of the random things. Kamala Khan's father will appear in Daredevil Born Again. Now Charlie Cox had teased that there's going to be some tiny crossover-y type stuff in the show. This is one of the weirder ones, I think. But maybe it's just as a little tiny whatever of just like, oh, one of the criminals break into their house. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on this?
I know there's controversial about
him
as a person. I'm not going to be like saying what, but I don't know.
There are some accusations out there. Yes.
Yeah. I it's kind of like I'm intrigued, I guess, to like seeing what a crossover is. I'm not too like he's a character that is not Kamala, so it's a I guess cheap cameo, if you will.
Yeah, I'm very curious what role. I think it has to just be a cameo. Like, I think it might be the equivalent of. It's gonna be a weird reference. But do you remember back in the Flash season 2, where Cisco breached with, I think it was Gypsy, and they roll into like Cat Grant's office with Miss Tessmacher. She's like, ah, or whatever, and I feel like that might be the equivalent.
Totally forgot about that.
I don't know, he busts into a house or whatever, and he's there. He's like, "What are you doing here?" And then they move. Like, I think that's going to be it, and just to show, hey, we're set in the MCU, guys. There's a character from this show on here. I think it's going to be that kind of thing.
And I do kind of like hope that they stick with the three different suits. Like, we get like a during the blip suit, after the blip suit, and the new suit.
Mm-hmm.
I think there should be like a little bit of all three, like basically kind of filling us in with the gap.
I really want to see the blip. That was my theory pre the change of the show. My theory, I was like, don't guys, I think Foggy and Karen are in the show, but my theory was it took place like during the blip, and I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, and they were just flipped away, and that's why they're not there, but they'll come back at the end of season 1, whatever. And I was like, nope, they just were dumb, and they just didn't want to bring them back like that. Like, I was giving them way too much credit.
Would you be like jaw dropped if, let's say, Tom Holland guest stars as Peter Parker in the as a cameo, not like integral for the story, but like, yeah. Wow, he's in a TV show. Spider-Man is actually in a TV show.
Because I think they would. I think that'd be a great way to, like, especially like if Disney had their way. I think it'd be a really cool way to set up Spider-Man 4 if at the end of season 2 he shows up. I don't know if Sony would let him though. They have a movies right. I don't think they have a live action TV show right. Like I think that's why in their TV shows, like they're not allowed to use the name Peter Parker and stuff like that.
I mean, they use Venom. Venom was the own universe, and they kind of like, hey, you can cameo.
Sony's silly with it all. I love a Spider-Man cameo. I think we're going to see Daredevil go over to Spider-Man. I'm not sure if we'll see Spider-Man go over to. I mean,
I,
it's.
you can have a cameo without actually having a cameo. I think like a phone call of Peter Parker calling Daredevil would be like jaw dropping, even though you can't have like Tom Holland. So
Yeah.
it gives you the like basically he picks up the phone and goes, "Oh, you need my help? I'm on my way." Basically like that.
No.
And you see they dial the tone saying Spider-Man because or Peter Parker because I think it's kind of interesting because uh Daredevil never actually saw who Spider-Man was.
Yeah.
He only heard his voice. So he probably knows he probably doesn't like he can't he can't forget something that he never saw. If that
I
makes
mean,
sense.
I think he could. I mean, he knew Peter Parker, right?
Yeah, he was a client. Like
I think he could still forget it.
He probably remembers the client, but he doesn't remember. He can't remember. He never saw who Peter looked like. And with Daredevil, he has a identical hearing. Like he can tell, like the same person. So it's kind of like I think Daredevil will actually pick up on the fact that he's Spider-Man.
Okay, I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, we got. I mean, for anyone that saw that trailer, we saw our first look at White Tiger, which was rumored to be at one point in time, at least in the original run, was rumored to be the main villain of Daredevil Born Again. I know, like, unfortunately, the actor who's playing White Tiger did recently pass away. I've heard a lot of, like Lance had mentioned it, and a lot of sources mentioned it. That's very unfortunate. I can't really speak much on it because my experience with White Tiger is just like Ultimate Spider-Man when they had that version on there.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to think about because if you would this Spider-Man that we have be Ultimate, because a lot of the things that happen in the show kind of happen in the MCU. He teamed up with Nick Fury. He became an Avenger. He had like he's in high school. It had a lot of elements of the same thing. So I'm trying to I think like Andrew Garfield was dubbed the Amazing Spider-Man, and I think the Tobey Maguire was a spectacular Spider-Man. But I think this one is the Ultimate Spider-Man, where it's like an adaptation of the comic, but not like full on like page for page adaptation.
Sure. All right. I guess the only really big thing we got out of this panel, and again, people were there. They saw some stuff for Ironheart. They saw some stuff for Thunderbolts. But the only official trailer we got was the second trailer for Agatha All Along, which we figured we would be getting because it comes out.
It was Agatha all along.
It comes out in just a little over a month at this point. Mm-hmm. Like it's around the corner. Our next MCU thing is here. I don't think I've ever heard your thoughts on the Agatha since the first trailer dropped. Are you excited for this show? Are you going to be watching the show?
I will say Wanda being a part of the story kind of like piqued my interest. I don't know what I'm curious if this is the show that's going to bring her back. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of like, I guess now I'm intrigued about it. But originally when it was just Agatha all along, pun intended. I think it was boring. Like I don't like watching villains.
Oh, we could have done this the whole time.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I just don't like villains as the protagonist, the
Mhm.
main character. I wasn't a fan of like I'm not going to watch Craven the Hunter, and I hate villains as
Okay.
heroes.
I mean, fair enough. I you know, this show has gotten a lot of the like, who asked for this? Who wants this crowd? I what I really respect about the show from I've seen so far, it just feels like they're doing their own thing. Like it's like, hey,
Mhm.
we're part of Marvel's brand, but we're not necessarily connecting it to the mainstream of it all. We're doing our own thing. It kind of reminds me of like what the Netflix era shows have done, in terms of like we're just telling a story over here and we're having a blast. And like yes, we're going to get things like Billy, which I think will lead to um, Young Avengers at some point, if that's pre Secret Wars or after Secret Wars. I do think Wanda will make some kind of cameo in the show, even if it's like I don't know if she's coming back to life, but I could see some sort of cameo. I don't think she's actually dead, so it's not like she's
No,
coming
no,
back.
there was a glimmer of light, the
Yeah,
beaming
she's
of the
alive.
red. Yeah, she's alive.
She's alive, 100%.
What's
Um,
the next one with the Kingpin? I just wanted to know what the.
this is part of the trailer that we saw, which was Kingpin and Daredevil will seemingly team up in Daredevil Born Again to deal with a larger threat, which
Uh,
was part of the ending bit of the trailer. Um, but I know I think the trailer looks fun. It looks okay. I'm just excited to have a new weekly Marvel show to talk about. You know, for a little bit of the inside baseball for us to like do these podcasts. These Marvel shows are nice because it gives us weekly stuff to talk about. You know, it gets us those clicks sometimes. We haven't had a live action weekly Marvel show since Loki season 2, which seems so strange. It's been almost an entire year since we had one. Like we had Echo, but that dropped all at once. We had What If, but that was like one a day, right? That was like one a day, and then we had X-Men '97, which was nice, but it wasn't necessarily MCU. Um, but but yeah, no, this looks fun. I'll watch it. It's not my most anticipated, but it looks okay. Um, and yeah, that's about it. Oh yeah, we had
I'm
Muse will
also
be a
intrigued.
villain. I don't know who
Percy
Muse is, but
Jackson.
he's in there.
Percy Jackson is my that most anticipated. I'm looking forward to that one.
Percy Jackson.
Season 2.
Yeah, they put out a trailer. I don't. It's not even called. You can't even call it a trailer. It was a teaser. It was all old footage, but like one new shot.
Mhm.
And now we got this new poster streaming 2025, which it's a nice turnaround, right? The season 4 was the beginning of it was end of last year, beginning of this year. Next year it is. I'd love if they could consistently do that 1 year thing, like every year
Have
have
you
a season.
seen the movies, the Sea of Monster movies?
I have, yeah.
Okay, that kind of reminds me of what's going to happen.
Yeah,
I
I mean
think,
this is their yeah, this is the like Sea of Monsters is the overall same story, but I
yeah,
assume
just
done better here.
told with the more faithful adaptation of it.
Yeah. Which I mean, you know, I like like I like it in terms of I've never read the books. Like I can watch the movie Sea of Monsters like, hey, this is a fun movie, knowing well fans hate its guts and wants it to die.
I didn't hate it that. I mean, the movies were fun.
They're
I
fun
get,
movies, yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. Like again, I've never read the books, and I bet if I have, I'd also hate it. But like, I don't know. They're fun. They're fun little silly movies. And I'm glad.
I hate when TV shows don't get creativity. Like I get that they should like follow like the story to an extent, but there's like stuff that isn't written that can be written to fill in the gaps to where it kind of like it branches for creativity in the filmmaker. And if you have to like basically tell the same story from the book, it kind of gets boring because you've
Yeah,
already seen the book. You've already read the book.
and
There's
I
no
think
like,
I like the Percy Jackson show, but I do think they went a little bit too straight from the book, where sometimes it feels like you're reading dialogue from the book, and I think sometimes it doesn't translate well into the medium that they're going in, which I think can be improved upon. Right, this is their first season, getting multiple seasons, they can improve upon this issue. But yeah, I don't disagree. I definitely don't disagree.
and I
Um,
really hope that they cover the books. Like I kind of like how they did with the the oh my gosh, a series of unfortunate events where they kind of cover a book of but instead like each episode is a book. It's a season.
yeah.
I hope they do that.
We don't have to spend time on this one. Freakier Friday was announced, or I guess it was officially announced. It's been in the works for a couple months.
Hey, I'm just happy they listened to me. Mark Harmon's back. That's
Is
all I
he?
care
Oh
about.
hell
Yeah.
yeah! I didn't see that.
He
I did.
came out of retirement just for this movie.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, and it's a theatrical movie, which made me happy. I was
And
thinking it was gonna be like a streaming movie, but no, it's a theatrical.
I didn't think they would bring Chad Michael Murray back either.
Oh really? That's funny. Yeah, no, I mean, I like that first movie.
Oh,
I'm not in love with it or anything, but it's
that
I
that remind. Oh, go ahead.
God, sorry. Go ahead.
That remind. There's a clip up above that reminded me of a dragon, which I'm looking forward to their adaptation of Eragon. I don't know if you remember the uh, announcement that they're going to do an Eragon TV show, but I'm kind of looking forward to that one.
Sure. Yeah, but no, I'm happy for Freakier Friday. I did think it was funny that Jamie Lee Curtis did all that shame over at Marvel, which she's allowed to have her opinion. I thought everyone slamming her was a bit too aggressive. But I did think it was funny, like the week before she's going to D23 and she's going to be around all the Marvel people, and I thought it was kind of funny. Like she probably said that at the worst possible time.
I also think it was taken out of context. I think the way how she says it was intended for like a blunt joke, where like how a person says it, it's different than what you read. Because if you read bad, there's no context about how she said it or what tone she used, or did she sound like mean? Did she sound like she hated Marvel? No, I don't think so.
It's just we ask these actors that have nothing to do with Marvel about their opinion on Marvel, and it's just like they don't care. Like they're clearly there to talk about their new project, their upcoming movie, their whatever, and it's like they don't want to talk about Thanos. Like they don't care. So
Nope.
It's a trend that needs to stop, and I get why they do it because they know it gets clicks, right? Hate clicks are a thing, but it should just I don't know. I almost feel like there should be a soft rule about like, don't talk about other stuff for the like. Obviously, there has to be some leeway with that, but like, don't talk about another franchise someone else is not in unless it's referring to them. I don't know. I feel like that should be a rule.
I feel like the same thing happened with Harrison Ford, where he was asked about Earth and stuff. I'm like, he's an actor that's there to make money. He's not there to live in the fantasy that we are.
That's going to be the entire press tour. Is just him being like, "What's an Infinity Stone? I don't know." Like that's gonna be the whole tour. And honestly, I think he's gonna live up to the bit. Like I think he knows he's getting those questions, and he's gonna play it up. Everyone, and that's the reaction that everyone wants out of him. Like they want him to be like, bleh, bleh. Like that's who Harrison Ford is.
He even said this is a whole like who shot first again. I don't care. I'm just there to make money.
Absolutely. Next up, we're heading into we're kind of into like the live action. And this
was
is
extremely disappointed by this. I mean, I'm excited that it's happening. I'm excited that that Stitch looks actually really cool, but
Yeah.
I'm not excited that there's no trailer.
Okay, so this announcement little thing here was big for two reasons. This was a big deal for two reasons. For one, the current release date was next month originally, and I was thinking yesterday, or the other day prior to like the con, I was like, wait, Lilo and Stitch is supposed to come out next month. There's been no marketing, there's been no trailer, there's no way it's still coming out, or if it is, they just don't care about the marketing. So not only was this pushed back to 2025 next summer, which I think this should be a summer movie. Thank goodness it wasn't a September movie. That was always a bad date. That was a stupid date. Why would you do Lilo and Stitch in September?
I don't. I think it was a temporary position until they found a better one.
And two, it's now officially a theatrical movie, which was one of my big issues with this movie. Originally, it was a Disney Plus project, and I always had a huge issue with this because I think Lilo and Stitch deserves better than a streaming movie. I think in terms of its budget, what they can do, I think Lilo and Stitch could be a big sci-fi franchise for Disney. I think it could almost be Disney owns it, but I feel like it can almost be like Disney Star Wars in the sense of like all.
If you think about it, they got it right this time. Instead of like having being bullied to change the look of Sonic, they did it right.
Yeah, he looked great. There was a lot of like nitpicking with him, like, hey, he should have been lower. I think he looks great. He looks better than I thought he'd look, if I'm gonna be completely honest.
He looks more realistic, and if he's like light blue, he looks like a cartoon.
And I think it has about $100 million budget. I think for that budget, at least right here, maybe there's parts of the movie he doesn't look good. Right here, he looks great. And that wiped away a lot of my criticism for this one, because this was one of the live action movies that from Disney. I was like, I'd like to see one because I feel like there's a lot.
I think they used the same voice actor for Stitch.
Yes, he's back. Yeah, like I think there's, I don't know, like I feel like that was my big criticism, was just like I think this was one of them I wanted, because I feel like there's a lot of worlds they can explore. There's a lot of storylines that can be adapted. It's such a large world, and I've always thought like a live action one could have been cool. That's one of them that you should have done. And so this wipes away a lot of my issues with it. I bet this was a Bob Iger thing. Same with Moana. When he was looking at the list of like Disney Plus projects, he's like, Lilo and Stitch. Why is this a streaming movie? Put it in the theaters. Let it make money.
One movie I hope gets a sequel in this near future is Meet the Robinsons. That was a good one. The reason why it didn't get made is because Bob Iger took over and was like, we're not doing sequels. But then, like, years later, he started doing the sequels that weren't in his reign. So,
sure.
I think Finding Dory was one of them.
Yeah. But no, I'm excited for it. I like this. It's gonna be. I'm wondering when it's gonna come out. I'm thinking it's gonna be August, because there is an open date in their release schedule in August. I'm hoping it's August because I don't want it to interfere with Superman. So I'm hoping they stay clear of July.
Oh.
But also they have Fantastic Four, so they're probably trying to stay clear of that as well.
June. I'll say June.
It could be. What's in June? They have something big in June, don't they?
No, I don't think so. What was it? 2025? June?
Yeah, movies? June 25. June 20. It could be June.
Moana.
That's
Elo.
this year.
Oh, that's this year.
Elo is that June, or is that?
It says 2025, and so it's Elo.
Okay.
Or How to Train the Dragon.
Ballerina's June. How to Train the Dragon June. Yeah, Elo is June too. So yeah, they might. I think they'll probably just do August. They'll probably push it to August because unless it's
I guess
May,
it is summer. I guess it. Well, May.
It could be
May,
like end of May.
May.
It could be May. I think they would just do like beginning of August. I think was a good time. Just like end of summer, beginning of kind of fall, and then if they're smart, Yeah, that's not Disney though. If they're smart, they'll do it in summer, and then they'll come to Disney Plus for Halloween. Because like I could see that being a good like Halloween marketing. Hey, it's a scary monster. Woo! Kind of, you know what I mean? Just there. In
And
terms of
Mission
that.
Impossible 8 is also in
Okay.
May.
All right, we're heading towards our end here. We have two final things to talk about. First up here is the Snow White trailer. Oh, no, copyright.
I think I'm not too keen on the dwarves yet.
Yes. What's your kind of like overall thought on this on this trailer?
Gal Gadot, her performances, the Evil Queen, was, I think, pretty good. I don't have any like complaints about that. If I'm being honest, the Evil Queen is hotter than Snow White. Just saying. I don't think that works in the like the who's the fairest of them all. You, because just being fair.
I mean, I don't, I'm not going to comment on the attractiveness of these actors. Like, I'm not going to sit here and do that. But also, I think a bit of it was always insecurity. Like, I don't think the Evil Queen story isn't necessarily, because it shouldn't be, because in the original movie, Snow White's like 14, right? So it's weird that she's talking about her, the prettiness of her stepdaughter or whatever. But even then, I think it's always been about the like insecurity of the Evil Queen and how she doesn't feel adequate enough, and how everyone else in the kingdom loves Snow White, and she's always like, oh, how gorgeous she is. And like I never really thought it was always about the direct I don't know, I guess beautifulness of her herself, and just how she felt so insecure, and how she was going to take the kingdom someday and stuff like that. With that being said, I am so excited for Rachel in this movie. I think she's going to kill it as Snow White. I think in terms of like, there's a reason why she's Snow White, and it's because her voice is as gorgeous. She's amazing in Hunger Games. She's amazing in West Side Story. I went down a rabbit hole a couple months ago, just listening to all her covers on YouTube, and she's done a bunch of these Disney covers. And while she's going through them, I'm like, she just sounds like a Disney princess. Like she's gorgeous the way she does it.
The one thing that I think they cast perfectly too is Emma Watson as Belle. I think that was a good choice, and she sounds nice. Like I don't think she is like a professional singer, but
no,
she did perform the songs perfectly. So
yeah, I mean that was one of the big complaints of that movie, was a lot of it was auto-tune, which I
don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I don't want to comment on that too much. I didn't hate it. I also didn't like. I don't know. I thought she did a good job as Belle herself. But Gal as Evil Queen, I know there's some controversies with Gal currently, but I think in terms of the look, I think she looks really good as the Evil Queen, in terms of like, just the plain look of the character up in this point. She looks like the Evil Queen. I think she's gonna do that job. I know there's a lot of hatred on her acting abilities in a lot of these movies. Some of them is probably valid. I'm curious to see how she plays this. It feels like a very different character than she's played previously.
I will say the criticism of what happened with Wonder Woman was bogus. That shouldn't be a criticism. I'll tell you after the stream.
Yeah, I mean there's people talk about like certain line deliveries from her, and some of that is taken out of context. I think some of it could be on the director, some of it might be on her as well. I don't know. I don't want to sit here and say if it is or not, but yeah, I think this was a very good first impression. I think this was a good, and all these first trailers do this, right? They're all very cookie cutter. Hey, this is what the original is, so this is what this is. It looks good. The dwarfs look it's something. It's something, all right. And I know there was a lot of controversy with the dwarfs with the whole like Peter Dinklage situation that came out about a year ago. That's why the whole movie was pushed back. I don't know if that was the right call or if it wasn't the right call. All I will say is I don't like the way they currently look. I'm not a fan. It's definitely it's a very like uncanny valley situation. I think it just kind of
It looks like
doesn't look great. Yeah.
it looks like fairy tale meets real life.
Yeah, and even like some of the animal shots, I do agree. It looks kind of whatever at the moment. But
I'm still giving them like the benefit of the doubt. It's not polished yet because no movie is until like a month or two before release.
Yeah, and it's not that far away. It comes out next March, which same amount as Daredevil, so it's around the corner. It's beginning of next year, and
it's around the riverbed.
It is really funny. We like that. We have a teaser for this that comes out in March, and we still don't have a Sonic 3 trailer.
Sonic
comes
3
out in like
comes out soon.
3 months, right?
I think when it's at 2 months, that's when they release trailers and promos, and basically you're going to feel like you're being suffocated by promotion.
Yeah, I mean, everything else in December, like Mufasa has a trailer. Craven's about to put out their second trailer soon. We've heard. I guess Lord of the Rings is in the same spot because they still don't have a trailer either. So I don't know. We'll see. And yeah, we had this beautiful poster. Beautiful poster. I love it. Can't see it, but it looks great.
It looks black.
Yep.
A little transparent.
It's frozen on me. Hold on. We're gonna reload this because but yeah, no, I'm my whole Twitter shutting down. What's going on? Oh boy.
Twitter down. It's probably because of the whole like debate thing. Well, not debate. The whole interview with Elon Musk or something. Like the servers are going to.
Oh, are they going down?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, you know what? That's okay though, because we only have one thing left to talk about, and that's
was that the Tron thing?
There was Tron. We don't need to talk about Tron unless you want to talk about Tron.
I don't know anything about Tron.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know much either. I was just gonna talk about the Mufasa trailer that we also got.
Oh yeah, the first teaser I wasn't too like excited about it. I'm pretty sure like you weren't excited about it either. Mm-hmm. But this one had a little more context, and it kind of like I'm more invested in what they're going to do because it seems like Scar is actually a hero in this story.
I feel like I have such a unhealthy relationship with this movie because I'm so excited because I love The Lion King. It's my favorite movie. I'm also just very nervous. I personally don't like the live action style of these live action Lion Kings. I'll be honest, I just don't know if it works in the way they've done them. I think I'd be much more excited if these were, I don't know, animated in some. It's still animated, but fully animated. I feel like. That aside, though, I actually really liked this trailer. I think I really enjoy the story they're telling here. I think they're going a very interesting direction. Obviously, some people are like, they're changing continuity. And I was like, yeah, let's call it a reboot. That's the whole point. That's why we're here. We're here to change things and do different stuff. And I really like the decision to make them not Blood Brothers. I think that's a fascinating change for this continuity.
I also think that this kind of like Lion Guard did it first with the whole like changing the backstory of
Scar.
Oh, Scar. And no, like the backstory of Mufasa. Well, not Mufasa. Basically, Simba has more kids than just Kiara.
Sure.
What's her name?
Kiara? Yeah, Kiara.
Okay. So it's kind of like it opens the like it already changed the forefront of what Lion King 2 was, and you never actually saw who that Cub was until Lion Guard.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like you're getting like a wider perspective. I honestly do not think they changed the backstory of Scar. I think it's never been told
Yeah.
because technically Disney thought of it first and they're doing it again. So
I mean, they're definitely changing a lot of things. Like originally, they are blood brothers. Like that is a confirmed thing in the original. Which again, it's fine. They should. I think they should be changing things. That's why you make a reboot. That should be, in my opinion, the main reason you reboot something is to tell the story from a different perspective, right? They're doing new things. That's why you should do this. And I really like, I am feeling the anger from Scar just from what we've seen, where it's like, well, I brought you into this kingdom, I saved you, we became brothers, we became best friends,
and then you took it all from me.
Yeah, eventually you get the kingdom. Like, what happens? That's so intriguing to me. Like, what do you do to lose your kingdom, or what does Mufasa do to kind of take it? And I think
Who's
like
the real villain of this one? I think it's Mufasa.
And that's interesting because like Mufasa's the main. It's his movie. It's called Mufasa, but already just straightforward. I'm more interested in what we're doing with Scar. I think he might end up being the more, entertaining character here, and their dynamic. I think I'm very excited to see. We haven't seen a lot of the music so far, but there's just that little bit where they start singing in this like I can't wait to be king-esque like looking sequence.
With Mufasa, I think it's kind of, I see the interesting side to it where an underdog, someone that's not royalty, becomes royalty. That's like the hallmark of Disney. Like Cinderella, who was basically a slave, that became of the stepsisters. There's a hidden meaning behind Cinderella, to saying she was technically a slave to her family, and basically becomes queen. So I think it's kind of like the similarity where a nobody becomes king.
Yeah, no, I love that. Again, it's this is what I want from these live action reboots. I want them to, and I think that's why I'm so excited for a lot of these sequels to these reboots more than the reboots themselves. Because like, all right, you've done the retelling, now we can do our own thing. We could, so Mufasa and Cruella 2 and Maleficent 3 has been rumored, and we're supposed to be getting Aladdin 2. I'm waiting. I really want to see that, but no, I like this one a lot better, and you could very clearly tell they were trying to make them emote better in this one than they did in the 2019 movie. No surprise, I don't love that movie. I think it's fine. That's what I'm just not a huge fan of what they were doing over there. But no, I mean, you got Barry Jenkins, which is this Oscar-winning director. He's loving what he's doing. Lynn's doing the music. Again, it's original story. I'm personally excited for it, and I will be there.
I think from the 2019 versus this one, I think they fixed one of their mistakes where they give the lions more emotional, like the animation, like the Lion King, where you can see they're sad, see they're happy. Basically, this has more emotion than that one did.
100%. Yeah, they already they I think they purposely opened the trailer showing Kiara's eyes. So it was like, all right, you know what? Yeah, it looks better, and some of it still looks a little, it is hard to get, I think, fully invested in the trailer because it is still just real animals. But I'm much more positive about this one than I was for the first one. I liked the first one, but I was like, eh. But now knowing more of the story, where we're kind of at with it, I'm excited. With that being said, I do want to ask you two questions that we're starting to wrap up the stream here. First one, was there stuff that we didn't get from D23 you were hoping to get, announcements, trailers, any kind of thing on your giant wish list of things? It could be anything in this kind of world that you would have liked to have seen that we didn't get.
I would have liked to get an original, like, new hero for the MCU. That we haven't heard or rumored or announced. Something new,
an MCU project.
Yeah, something like basically Doctor Strange was a new hero that was just like you get his solo movie, his original, like basically like that.
Sure. Yeah, I'm curious. I completely forgot about the animation panel. Also, I kind of forgot that they also did that. Do you know if Twitter's back on? Actually, do you know if that?
It should be.
Okay, we'll speed run those in just a minute here. But no, I think what just in terms of what I wanted, we got some cool stuff. Again, I wanted that Born Again trailer. We didn't get that. They gave it to us, but not really. I wanted that Tiana trailer. I really wish they could have. I don't know. I don't know what's happening with that show or kind of where it's going at the moment, but
I think it's in quiet limbo.
they had promotion there, so I thought we'd get proper information about it, but we simply just did not. I wanted a Descendants 2 announcement. I think that would have been really, really cool. I wanted that Gravity Falls announcement. That was it wasn't. I think it was less that it was rumored and more that we were really getting our hopes up for it. We're like, it has to happen. It's going to happen after they teased it in the book recently, but we unfortunately did not, and that's okay.
So what's your second question that you had?
Oh, I was going to, and I'll actually ask this once we get done with this little bit of animation stuff. Trust me, there's not a lot of like animation stuff to talk about.
Right.
It was a very underwhelming, in my opinion, a very underwhelming animation panel for Marvel. I thought they were going to show more, but okay, I'm gonna share my screen again, and I know we've been going 2 hours, so I do want to get you out of here. Okay, the Marvel animation panel had started.
It's so
Brad,
small. It's so small.
Oh, let me share my screen. I'm so sorry. Yeah, read it, 3Dubs. Read it. Okay, first up here. Brad Windebald said that they will always change up the animation styles with Marvel animated projects, adding there will be no in-house style. James Gunn recently said a very similar thing over at DC, and I think this is the way to go. I think each project should stand on its own. I think it should look differently. And we're already kind of seeing that. Like, X-Men looks different than What If, and What If looks different than, Freshman Year. And, Freshman Year kind of looks different than Black Panther. So, already seeing this. I like this a lot. I'm glad they don't all just look like the What If style. I think that's great. Do you have any thoughts on that, or are we okay to move on?
Yeah, we're okay.
Okay, cool. All right, we got a bunch of What If. Oscar Isaac's Moon Knight will appear in What If Season 2. Shout out to
Season 3.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It'd be crazy if we're like, oh, he was there, we didn't notice him. That's crazy.
Wait, we're going back in time?
People love Moon Knight. I didn't like it that much. Are you happy that Moon Knight's going to be coming back in some way, shape, or form?
Yeah, just I didn't like the show, but I like the character when he appears. So I guess, yeah, I kind of want him more in the MCU like than normal. So more the merrier.
Sure. I'll actually kind of wait until we kind of get done with this little What If section to get my thoughts on this, because I do think it is kind of interesting. Ironheart and Shang-Chi will appear in What If Season 3. I guess I could just say it right here. I think it seems like there's a focus on a lot of those Phase 4 and Phase 5 characters in Season 3, which they teased. They've teased Sam Wilson also. So, that's cool. That's kind of what people were asking for in the first 2 seasons. They wanted more than just the original stuff. Ironheart's interesting, though, because Ironheart will appear before her show even comes out. So, are you excited about these two popping in? Or are you whatever?
Not in What If. I want them in live action more than.
That's fair.
I haven't seen What If since I haven't seen What If.
Okay, you haven't seen any of it, or
no.
Oh, wow,
I just know. I just know what people have told me about it, and also like the animation, for example, as we're I guess talking about the pat. I don't like the animation. I like X-Men 97 animation, but I don't like What If.
That's fair. I mean, on that Season 3 will be the final season, which
What if it wasn't?
we kind of heard about that for a little while. Like it was kind of softly confirmed before, but I'm okay with this, especially with us kind of exiting the multiverse saga. It seems like they're trying to speed run out of it at this point within the next several years. So it makes sense to me. I think it'd be a little weird if we were still doing it post Secret Wars. So I'm okay with this, and hopefully it goes out with a bang. Okay, what if season 3 will include an episode featuring the Avengers team, Captain America, Moon Knight, Monica Rambeau, and more facing against Gamma monsters? Yeah. I mean, that sounds cool. I suppose. I'm curious. Again, that's a very unique. It's a very very specific, I guess, prompt for an episode. I'm not sure if it says it here, but they also said that he's going to say Avengers Assemble within this sequence, which is very fun. Yeah, I hope that's cool.
I hope Sam Wilson says on your left at some point in this as the new Captain America.
Avengers, that'd be cool. Nice little reference. All right, Eyes of Wakanda.
I know.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Speaking of like the Deadpool and Wolverine, where he comes out of the portal with the Logan, right? He says on your left.
Yeah, he did.
I was so like, that is a line from Captain. Like it foreshadowed Chris Evans.
Sure. Eyes of Wakanda is an animated series that dives into Wakanda's history. Todd Harris developed the series, who served as a storyboard artist behind many motion action movies. We kind of knew this as well. This isn't really like a reveal. Aside of just, I guess it was officially announced by Disney itself here, which was nice to just have it confirmed that it's coming out.
What was it was perceived to be live action, and I thought that was more intriguing than I guess animated. I guess I'm picky. I get that they can do more with animation, but at the same time, I like live action a little bit more.
Okay. I mean, fair enough. I personally think it's the best medium to tell these comic book stories, and I think especially with it being like a prequel, they can kind of do, they can kind of have fun with that. But again, we talked about it like up front in the stream. I am worried about it being 4 episodes. That's not a lot. It's not a lot of time. I feel like you may as well just do a movie at that point.
12 minutes as episode.
We gotta see how long they are. They gotta be longer. This is a pretty interesting news though. Iron Fist will appear in Eyes of Wakanda. Now, I think this is kind of a big deal with the show being MCU canon. This is technically the first appearance of Iron Fist. Yes, he's canon within the Netflix shows now, but this is the first time Marvel Studios themselves are putting an Iron Fist in a project, which is really fun.
Yeah, I still like. If it was the live action Wakanda series that was announced, I would have been more, I guess, excited because the live action determines the character's actor. Like the guy who's being cast as Iron Fist is going to be Iron Fist in the MCU.
But I don't think this is it though. Like I don't think this isn't our Iron Fist. This is because this show is set way in the past, right? Like this is about like the first Black Panther. So I don't think
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think this is just like one the first. I would assume like one of the first versions of Iron Fist within the canon. But I think it's just exciting either way, just to be like, yeah, like they're finally telling Iron Fist stories. Maybe this means, again, I know a lot of people don't like that actor who plays him in the other stuff, but maybe that means he's coming up soon.
I don't think he was given the right amount of justice to he was hated at the start. I think with a more involved MCU, I think Kevin Feige will make this Danny Rand more enjoyable than the Netflix series. So I have a lot of faith if they keep the actor. At the same time, I won't be like heartbroken if they recast him.
Yeah,
The only thing I would be heartbroken if they recast would be Charlie Cox, John Berthol for Punisher,
yeah.
Elektra. I would have been heartbroken for that.
Jessica
Like
Jones. Yeah.
I would be heartbroken if they recast Spider Man.
Um. Yeah, making our way into freshman year. This official photo was officially released from freshman
That
year. I'm
was
sorry,
really.
your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Now it's the title has changed. Um,
I swear that I didn't notice that was going to be the next subject. I was like, I would be heartbroken if they recast Spider Man. I didn't.
hey, they
What
recast
a
Spider-Man.
coincidence!
Look at that.
What a coincidence!
That's funny. I really wanted a trailer. This show is supposed to come out in November. That's not that far away. That's just a couple of months out. Why not start promoting it? Why not give us at least a teaser?
What?
So
I just saw something you just tweeted 4 hours ago. I did not know. What?
wait, what?
Jared Padalecki joining Fire Country?
Oh yeah.
I'm so excited. Yay.
Yeah. So this was the first kind of piece of like big art. I'm glad we get to have something else, around the series. But I really wanted that teaser. Coleman Domingo will be the voice of Norman Osborn, which he was the actor that was actually rumored to be the new Kang before the whole Robert Downey Jr. thing. So, hey, at least he's something in Marvel. So that's kind of cool.
Wait. Refresh my memory. Did we ever get a Harry Osborn in the Spider-Man universe?
In like the MCU,
Yeah.
There's never been a Harry, but there's
That means he's going to be in 4 or something like that. I hope.
maybe if they're allowed. I don't like. Last time I heard they weren't allowed to full on use Harry and stuff like that, but
Oh,
I don't know. We'll see.
That's cool.
I'd love their own version of like Norman Osborn. I think that'd be cool.
It's Ned secretly Harry. Let's just say.
I mean, that's why we have Ned, right?
Yeah.
Hudson Thomas voices Peter Parker. He was also the actor in What If. Peter and Norman's relationship in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is like a what if scenario of Peter and Tony from the MCU. That seems like a weird comment because I feel like typically it is the Peter and Norman relationship and not it's whatever. There is the one I kind of wanted to. Okay, here's the one. Here's the one that got the internet in flames. The first clip from Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man reveals Peter gets his spider bite when Doctor Strange and Venom come through a portal fighting along with a spider. Now
Wow.
this one's been going off in flames a little bit because I think everyone's quite mad that they're changing the origins of Spider-Man, and the origins have to do with Venom and Doctor Strange.
It's not the same one.
Yeah, I think this is different. This is unique. I think bringing in Doctor Strange from the first jump is definitely a choice. But this is a thing. I just want to wait and kind of see what they do with it. Like I'm a big component of do different things, do new things. There's been so many unbelievable. There's been like an unbelievable amount of Spider-Man projects over the years. Spider-Man TV shows, games, movies. I'm fine doing a show that mixes it up a little bit, changes the origin a little bit, gives a different spin on it.
We still haven't had a proper Spider-Man TV show that's live action.
Yeah. Oh, and I unfortunately don't think we ever will. Unfortunately, as much as
I mean, No War is the closest thing we're going to get.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. It's I'm personally like it's definitely a strange choice. Like it's definitely something very unique. But I'm open to it. I'm very open to seeing kind of where that goes and what we do with it. Do you have any kind of thoughts on this whole like situation?
Not really.
Okay, cool. We're down to our final one here. Marvel Zombies will be a 4-episode TVMA event project. We've heard this for a while. I'm much more okay with Zombies being this like little 4-episode event than I was Black Panther. I'm fine with this. I'm at a point with Zombies. I just wish they'd just throw it out. They should be like, here you go, have it.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not coming out this October, when is it? Are they going to wait till next October? I don't know. Like it feels like such a long wait.
They said it's an animation, or are they
It
just
is. It's animated.
Oh my gosh, I want to see what they do in live action.
Honestly, though, I think that would be so expensive if it was live action, especially with all the characters. Like they could not have gotten all the characters we're getting if it was like live action.
Well, I meant like have a 4 episodes, kind of like. I just want to like I want to see a zombie Avenger. That's basic. I mean, we kind of got in a one for Doctor Strange, but
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think this one makes sense why it's animated, especially when you have like, Shang-Chi and Miss Marvel and Spider-Man and all these. Like, it would be pretty impossible to get that in live action, I feel like. But I'm excited for it. I think in terms of just the characters, I'm excited to have like Kate Bishop back and like Yelena and Miss Marvel and Shang-Chi, and I guess Katie's in here, and I don't know. I could be excited for it if it seemed like it was coming out anytime soon, but unfortunately it does not. It's all the big stuff. I feel like there were some things about What If season, or I'm sorry, not What If, X-Men season 2, but I'm not really seeing it offhand. So I think that's going to kind of be it. Are you like a Fortnite fan at all? Because like they also announced their big like Fortnite Marvel thing that came out. Which
there was a Indiana Jones picture that I just saw that you scrolled past.
It was probably a ride. I assume it's a Disneyland. Let's see. Indiana Jones ride is coming to Walt Disney. Yeah, there's a lot of I've never been to Disneyland or World, so the like the Lion King attraction. Oh, that's cool. I'll never go, but that's great. Like
I would say World is more. If you ever go in your lifetime, I would suggest you go to Disney World because there's more attractions, more fun entertainment, more like things to do. Land is very small.
Gotcha.
In California,
I will say like a Monsters Inc. land sounds very cool, and I heard like they're doing like a Monsters Inc. like ride, and I think in terms of like the setup of the doors, like that's such a great ride idea. I think that's really cool.
And I should know I live in Florida, so I'm close to it.
Just go.
It's just expensive. $300.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been talks with my family going next year, but I won't hold my breath.
I mean, if you go, and it's it's an extraordinary experience.
I mean, who knows? I might be in Florida. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? A new Spider-Man,
same state as me. Yeah, that's right. And you go be driving right by me, literally. There's no road that sways from where to go to Orlando. So.
Yeah, I feel like I should wrap this up. I've kept you for 2.5 hours at this point.
I'm hungry.
I should let you go eat. We talked a lot. Thank you, 3Dubs, for being here. Thank you for entertaining my grand wonderists of this episode. Make sure to go check out 3Dubs. He's trying to regrow his channel. You can check him out also on Podin Nation and any of the other streams. I think you're about to go on Eric's channel in a little bit here. I might pop in as well. You have anything else that you want to promote or like shout out?
No, not really. I just need like subscribers. I'm starting a new channel. I got out of the my other one because of shorts kind of destroyed my channel. So
Mm.
I'm trying to restart fresh so that my content gets pushed out with the algorithm sucks.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's that's how what's my deal. So yeah.
Hell yeah. Go make sure to check that out. We'll be back the next after a credit string I'm planning on doing. I want to do Batman Cape Crusader and Ninja Turtles. I'm not sure who will be on for that one, but that's the next one. And check out the pipeline number 100 this Thursday. I'm very excited. We got a couple of guests hopping in. Got some fun things planned. And yeah, without further ado, guys, I will see y'all on the flip side. Bye bye.